I need to breathe a second. Okay, expand. That's the word of the day. I had posted this morning into the group. I said, "Hey, I'm looking for some ideas for upcoming daily fuels." And wow, you guys just like bombarded me with ideas. I think I'm set for a month, so that's really good. Danielle put a post in there with about 6 or 7 ideas in one post. So there was one. The thing about it is like I have to like the idea has to. A lot of the ideas hit me where I'm just like, oh, I'm definitely going to do that one. But it also has to hit me like that day. Like I have to be pumped for a daily fuel. Otherwise, I can't think of what to say. It's got to kind of be relevant to what's going on today. For me. Otherwise, I'm not really all that into it. And I like to be into it. So her thing, one of hers was think outside the box, and I thought about how recently I've been trying to improve my art and figure out how to do better at it, but also kind of do it a little differently. And I think that thinking outside the box or expanding your mind, expanding your consciousness, expanding anything at all is a good thing. So because there's something that I realize as artists, really as anything in life, you practice it, you get better at it, you get good at it, you may even become an expert at it. But have you ever noticed that you become really good at something, but you kind of get like a groove going as to how you do it? I'll give you an example. Well, for me, I've mentioned before, I've done websites for clients for many years. And I got it down to a science where I could do days worth of work on a website in an hour because I have this whole thing set up as to like I realized that every website that I was doing for clients, I would do the same things over and over again. So I built like one website that was that I used as a prototype. And every client got that prototype because I had to do the same thing for every client all the time. And then I would, from there, I would use that prototype to expand and then add other features and other things so that I could do days worth of work in an hour because I had this prototype built. And just using that like as an offshoot from there, you probably, if you're a painter or something like that, you probably don't have canvases with like the base of how you do every painting all done. But maybe in our minds, we kind of know that, well, the way I go about this is first I, paint this, or then I add this, or then I do this kind of thing, or I only ever use these brushes, and that's a painter's example. For me, writing songs, I find that I can sometimes get in this groove of the way that I do it. I'll come up with a melody, and then I'll have lyrics that I have for it, and then I'll start looking for. Like I don't play instruments, right? So I can play keys a little bit, but I'm not a drummer. I'm not a guitar player, and so what I do is I design music. I use loops and samples, and I put it together in Logic, and then I sing over that. Except what happens is you start to get like a routine of how you do it. I kind of gravitate toward the same sounding loops, or I'm always picking from the same library, or I'm always using the same time signature or something like that, right? Or the same general instruments or sounds. And I think that we sort of start creating habits and these, it's nice to get into a groove with your art and it's nice to be really good at what you do, but all of a sudden it might start getting a little boring and you might start doing the same thing over and over and over again, which ironically lowers our creativity. So I was thinking about 3 ways that we could expand our mind, think outside the box, and make better art. So the first way is the first step to all of this. None of these others will work. You have to be self-aware. You have to be aware of the fact that you're in this rut, right? That you're creating, like, what? Wow, that painting or that dance move that I came up with, or that song that I wrote, or this thing that I built is just like that thing, right? So if you can become self-aware that you're kind of recreating the same thing on a different day, so like ask yourself, am I stuck? I wish I could do something different, but I don't know how. I just end up making the same kind of thing. Or if you can ask yourself, am I stuck? Am I making the same thing? And you feel like you are, well, now you're self-aware. So don't freak out about it. We can change that, but it requires a little bit of work and effort. But that's the first step, because if you're not even aware of it, then you're just going to keep on doing it. So that's number one. Be self-aware. Ask yourself, am I making the same thing over and over and over again? If the answer is yes, then you need to expand your mind. If the answer is no, then don't worry about it. You can go home. You don't have to watch the rest of this. Number two is I like to look at other people's work for inspiration. I'll never forget the day many years ago, not many years ago, a few years ago. Well, my kids were little, so it feels like many years ago, but they're still little, but they got tall, so it feels like a long time ago, but it wasn't. You don't care. We went to New York City, and we went to the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and I just remember feeling at that time that I was kind of down on my design work and my art and music in general. I just was like bleh about it, and just walking through that museum and seeing the things in there. And I've mentioned on a live in the past that day in that museum was Van Gogh's Starry Night. I didn't know it was there, and I saw it and I was mesmerized. But it wasn't even just that one painting, it was everything. It was the overall feeling of seeing all this magnificent stuff in styles and genres and whatever that I've never even seen before. And I went home like I just wanted to make stuff. Just felt like I couldn't wait to create. That rhymed. We should do something with that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm noticing the same feeling happening here, that you guys are just like posting so much. I feel like I need to spend an hour a day just to scroll through to make sure that I comment on everything, because I don't want things to go by that I ignore. I want to make sure that I'm seeing everything. And I have to tell you, there are so many pieces already that I've seen that have already influenced me. I posted a video today, and there are elements that I added to it, specific that I never would have added to it, but I did because of things that I've seen in this group. And thank you for that. It's just remarkable to me that to see other people's work on such a level and such a consistency is just making me inspired to create differently and to go about it a little bit differently. And it ended up making something that was still mine. It was obviously still a video that Bobby makes, but it was like it had new flair to it. It had a new edge to it, and I liked that. So that number one, self-awareness. Ask yourself, am I stuck? Number two, look at other people's work to get ideas and, maybe incorporate things. And then number three, that was it. Incorporate things. I jumped ahead. Number three is incorporate other styles into your work. Now, a musician is a really simple one to use as an example here. If like I'm a rock singer, but sometimes it's kind of weird, but I like to just practice singing other songs, other styles of songs. I can sing a country song. I don't really like country music, but I like practicing singing a country song because it makes me step outside my comfort zone a little bit and try something that's not my style whatsoever. I'll never get on stage and sing a country song. Well, I mean, I would maybe, but like it's not going to be like I'm not going to write one, but and there's nothing wrong with country songs, it's just not me, right? Or like opera or something like that. Like it's interesting to just try other things. And to me, it's like you can do it one of two ways. You can either just practice in other styles, or you can actually decide, I'm going to create this thing in a different genre, a different style, a different medium. And you can imagine this in whatever your art is. For a painter, try oil instead of acrylic, or for or try an impressionist instead of a realist type of thing. For a dancer, if you're a ballroom dancer, try practicing as contemporary, or try tap dancing, or even if you're a painter, try dancing, right? Or if you're a dancer, try painting. You never know, like you might, or do it with your left hand or something like that, like you just don't know what doing something completely outside of your comfort zone, right? Could have mentioned this for the comfort zone one, is going to do to when you come back to your normal thing, because now you're going to have the ability to do it that way when you do it your way. So, all right, so those are the three things, and I'm going to go and say hello to everybody. Let's see what we got. I'm not even gonna talk about how I don't breathe anymore because that's just how it is. All right, I just don't breathe, and that's that. So Ivan, hi, Ivan, how you doing? I really like your work, Ivan. Ivan just joined the group like yesterday or the day before or something. He posted one or two things that he's got a very illustrator style, and it's like, is it vector art? It's really really good. And oh, my wife is here. Hi, babe. Hi. How are you? And she's getting our daughter, and I guess you're sitting in the car waiting for her to come out and watching my live. Hello. Let me see. Who did I miss? Hector said good afternoon. Amy's here. Hi, Amy. So Amy posted that she missed yesterday's live because the clocks went back on Sunday. That's funny. All right. I think as an artist, we are always looking not only at other people's work for inspiration, but generally at all time, looking everywhere. It's being connected spiritually. You know what? That is a great point. I always think about New York City, right? Because I live on Long Island. I'm about 30 or 40 miles away from New York City. And I always think about the buildings in New York City because so many of the buildings are beautiful and so many of them just are not, right? And I'm always curious, like, who decided to build this ugly thing when somebody decided also and designed this amazing thing, And there's just so much beauty around us all the time that we can decide what it is that we're going to look at. And so, like, I look at buildings all the time. I'm not an architect. I'm not really all that interested in architecture, but I am interested in art and beauty. And when I see art in some form, even though that's not my form, I recognize it, and it always kind of, you know what it is, I think? It evokes a feeling, and then you can try to take that feeling into your work because maybe it evoked a feeling that you're not used to getting from your own art, but now you're like, I really liked getting that feeling. How can I create it myself in this thing that I do? I didn't think of that before when I was writing my spiel. I like that. I have to watch that back and think more on that. But maybe it's not just a style. Maybe it's not just practicing with your left hand. Maybe it's looking at things that evoke a feeling in you that you're not used to creating yourself, but you find it in other things. And then ask yourself, how can I create something that evokes that feeling? I like that. What do you think of that? Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Ivan says, artists who are good and have interesting and quality works awaken inspiration in another artist who strives to be even better. Yeah, right? Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be, it's like, we always think of things like the master and the apprentice, right? And I think that that's really wonderful when it comes to things like craft or technique or especially in business, where you have somebody with a lot of experience. So you've always got like somebody who's a mentor or things like that. But the interesting thing to me, especially riffing on what I just said about evoking emotion, is that human beings, we're just born with the emotional part. We don't have to be taught it, right? So you could have just started painting last week and still have so much to teach about evoking emotion, even though you don't know how to hold your brush, okay? The emotional part we can get from everyone and everywhere. So, wow, Amy and Ivan, thank you for those comments, because that really gave me a lot to think on. I wish I could go back in time and redo this whole Daily Fuel. I would have said that. Thanks. And my wife says, hi, babe. Totally get it, says Hector. Excellent. And Mikey says, wow, look at all these comments that came in. Mikey says, explore all styles and combine them. I've been classified as eclectic, which really means not classified at all. Yeah, eclectic is an interesting word for it. I think also so many of us, I'm noticing, are multidisciplined here. We can write, we can record, we can draw, or it's like I think that if you're really good at one kind of craft, you could probably be pretty good at another one, if you wanted to. You have to have the interest, but I think that the again, I think that innate ability to just sort of evoke emotion, maybe that's what thinking outside the box needs to be for us. Maybe we just keep creating the same emotion over and over again, and we need to expand and think of some other way to say it or some other way to create that. And maybe it could be being eclectic and trying some other thing you never tried before, you know? I mean, I look at some of the stuff that Hector makes and I'm just in awe of it. And similarly, my brother, who's in this group, he creates things out of wood. And, I'm not really interested in doing that kind of work. I'm not drawn to it, but I would totally hang out at like a workshop with either one of them and like do it for a day and be like, look at this thing I made, you know, and I think that it would just like I could do that and then take it back to my songwriting or video creation and remember that, wow, I really had to think about the technique, or I really had to think about how to craft this thing so that the finished product said what I wanted it to say. And I forget to think through those steps when I make a song or a video because I'm just on autopilot half the time. I think you know what I mean. Thanks for that. Just Create says, Ivan, the artist leaves a trace. Oh, that's that. The artist leaves a trace. I like that. That's a cool expression. We should use that somewhere. Amy says, eventually you breathe. Eventually I do breathe. And Ray says, as long as you're smiling, you don't really need to breathe. Oh, so you guys are talking about me breathing because I was saying that I'm not breathing a while back. And Peter's here. Hey, buddy. What's going on, man? Nice to see you here. Nice shirt. Thank you. Finally, somebody noticed, right? I was getting dressed this morning, and I was like, we've been wearing these T-shirts every day. Now, just so you know, I have like a whole bunch of T-shirts that are black and navy, and I don't wear the same shirt every day, but they look like the same shirt in the video. No matter which one I wear, it looks like the exact same shirt because of the lighting. It's not. And even if it were clean. But I just decided to wear something completely different today. And you know what the funny thing is that because of this group, I need to really get ready every day. Like during quarantine, the whole lockdown thing, I could be like just bumming around in sweats all the time. I'm sure all of us were. We're not judging. But I don't really like that. Like I actually like getting dressed up to go to work, except for me, going to work is going downstairs to the basement. So many days it feels ridiculous to get dressed to go downstairs and be all by myself down here. But now I do this, and you guys see me from here up anyway. I am wearing jeans. Well, you can't even see that. I am wearing shoes too. I could wear pajama pants. You'd never know it. But a funny story though. The reason I don't do that, because I'm using my DSLR camera right here, right? My laptop is down here. And when I was in my old group, I was doing Daily Fuel like this every day. And I was using the battery in the camera to do it. And now my camera is plugged into the electricity. But on this one particular day, it was really funny. The battery died in the camera, and the camera clicked off. And when it did, Ecamm Live switched to my webcam on my computer, which was pointing right at my pants. So all of a sudden, I was talking, and suddenly everybody in the group was, looking at my crotch, and that I had to like get down. Hey, what's going on? I was like down here, and that was embarrassing. And luckily, I was wearing pants, so I always wear pants now. But that would be funny. Where was I? Nice shirt, he says. And okay, Ray says, well, as long as you don't pass out from not breathing. Yep, I'm not. I'd love to watch some dance in New York. I don't know about now. I haven't been in New York since the whole quarantine and everything. But I mean, if you've never been there, like there are so many places where people are just dancing in the streets, dancing in the subways. There's literally like performers everywhere, and they are amazing, absolutely amazing. Like you could just hang out in Penn Station and walk around on the subways and hear the most amazing musicians and see the most unbelievable dancers who you've never heard of and may never ever see again, and they're just phenomenal. Ray, I live in the bush and trees are inspiring. Trees are inspiring too, absolutely. And Melinda's here. What's up, Melinda? How are you? Nice to see you. But what you think is ugly, someone else finds beautiful. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. that was probably in the context of something I said before. But yeah, the that just kind of, well, it's going to make me repeat myself, so I'm not. But absolutely, Melinda. Peter Hart and Marcia says, at this point, I'm stifled and feel that possibly I need to find myself spiritually first before I can create again. Well, that's not uncommon. I've talked about this before, where, what I'm talking about now is like I'm creating something and I'm kind of in the groove of creating, but I feel like, I'm in a rut and I'm not really creating anything really new or really expansive. Obviously, I don't write the same song every time. They're different songs, but maybe they're just in the same genre or whatever. But there are definitely times when I just don't feel like doing anything. I just don't feel like writing. I don't feel like singing. I don't feel like drawing, animating, editing, nothing, right? And there are two things I do for that. One is this, because doing the group and doing Daily Fuel is sort of forcing my hand. I don't have a choice, and I don't ever want to phone this in. So I'm going to have bad days for sure, and I have in the past. But it sort of keeps me practicing, because if you can practice every single day, and even though this isn't exactly my art is not doing live videos, but this is making me think. It's making me come up with things to talk about. It's making me look for stuff. It's making me come up with ideas. And then it's making me perform. And performing is one of my favorite things. I love being on stage and singing, but I also love being on stage, just being on stage. I love just being the front man, right? To me, that's just amazing. But when I am just in one of those places where I'm not even close to doing that, I'll shut it down. I'll take some time off from everything. I won't try to create at that point, because it's sort of like I have to go from the base of the mountain to the top of the mountain in one step. It's impossible. So I'll take time where I'm just watching movies, or I'm just sort of chilling out, or I'll go be with my family, or I'll do something else and take my mind off it. And so wherever that place is, Marcia, there's nothing wrong with that. Be where you are and just have a vision for where you want to go. Peter, I've been inspired by the painters and visual artists around here. Yeah, me too, for sure. There's a lot of amazing people here. So evoking, as in making yourself feel the emotions. Yeah, evoke, I use that word. It means sort of like to, like if somebody creates something, it evokes an emotion, meaning I'm looking at this thing, it's making me feel this way. That's what evoke is. And so evoke has to make yourself feel the emotion. So you can see somebody else's work that makes you feel a certain way. And then what I was saying was, now I've got this emotion, I want to create something that will evoke this emotion in me and others too, because I've never created anything that made me feel this way. How do I do that? Well, that's up to you to decide. Peter, I don't know what that is. Is that an ear? I'm late, but I'm here, says Victoria. Hi, everyone. There's no being late. You're here on time, or you watch the replay. Those are the rules. I'm sorry, but that's the rules. Hello, Victoria. I'm teasing you. Ray, get somebody to piss you off. That's a very interesting emotion that many don't explore. Yeah, you know what? I have a song, actually, that I'm trying to finish, I've been working on other things, and it's called Eye for Eye, but at the letter I, like the letter I for I, but it's about revenge, and it's and I wrote it from a place of just being pissed off. I wasn't thinking about any of you, but it's an older song anyway, but it's one that I want to finish. I'd like to get it finished soon, and I'll share it with you guys when it is. Ray, I read that one. And Bobby, play one of your instrumentals. Yeah. Well, I've posted some videos. If you, I'll tag you on them if I can find them. And I have one more song finished that I can post too. I'd like to post that one. I don't do instrumentals though. I'm a singer mostly, so I'll make the music out of loops and samples and things, and then I sing over that. But I haven't really created any just instrumental music. I miss these, says Peter. What? Oh, the lives? Yeah, I don't think you've been on one recently. Peter says hi. Okay. I don't know why the hi is coming in now. Hector, LOL, that would be awesome. I enjoy when people come to the shop inspired and I witness their inspiration and expand. See, I'm glad you added some context. If all you said was that would be awesome, I wouldn't know what you were talking about. You're talking about when I said before, like I'd hang out with you and I would totally do that, by the way. I don't know where you live, but I'm in New York. Peter, again, what is that, an ear? I don't know. LOL, you filmed your crotch. I know you remember that. That's my wife saying that. Yep, I filmed my crotch. There it was. Just the camera was just pointing right at my pants. And yeah, I heard about that for a long time. That was funny. Hector says, LOL. Oh, this clothes thing brings on new ideas for poetry. Oh, good. Hector. Ray's going to write a poem in the group tonight about the camera pointing at my pants. Belinda does a heart. Yes, about the buildings. Yep. Wow, I'm really behind on these, what are they called? Comments. Back again. Facebook is being a butt. Hopefully it stays stable for me. Oh, you got kicked off and you're back? All right, well, maybe. I don't even know if you're here then. Peter says 100%. Keeps the muscle strong and active. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Whatever I do will take my time, says Ivan. It's the text of a song by a famous group from Belgrade. The group is called Van Gogh. Oh, I didn't know there was a group called Van Gogh. I did a live about 3 weeks ago on Vincent Van Gogh, Ivan, if you're into him. Marcia, good advice. Thank you, Bobby. I'll give that a try. You're welcome. And you know what, Marcia, too, the other thing is that a lot of people are using this group mainly as a place to share their work and say, hey, look at this thing that I made. But I also want everyone to know that the group can be a place for, hey, I'm having an issue. What do you guys do to get out of this situation? Or what do you guys do to start painting again when you haven't been in a while? Or what do you if you're just not feeling the flow, like how do you get into it? Ask a question in the group and you'd be surprised how many people are going to just with amazing answers. I'm a smart guy, but I don't have them all. And there are a lot of really smart and generous people in this group. Mikey says that happens a lot all by itself. See, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, so for the new people on the live here, I read the comments later and I'm behind on them. So by the time I get to the comments, sometimes there's no context and I don't know what the comment's about, which is fine. It's just, I find it funny. Hector says Southwest Florida. Oh, Southwest Florida. Yeah, well, my brother and my dad are in like mid-Florida, along I-4 near Orlando. Southwest Florida. Okay. I'm not going there anytime soon. But Cape Coral, says Mikey. I don't know what that means. Sorry. I'm here, says Victoria. Poor Victoria, what does it keep bopping you off and you have to keep coming back? Hector says, LOL. Yeah, I'm not going to Florida is what I mean. Not that I'm not going to see you. If you were next door, I would totally go. But I'm not going to Florida. Oh, wow. Oh, this was fun. All right. I think we're done. If that's it, then Hector, you get the booby prize today. Whoever does the Cape Coral, Florida. Mikey knew it was Cape Coral, Florida. Well, that's kind of funny. How did you know that, Mikey? Well, I guess it's not hard to know that if you know him. Danielle is here. Oh, Danielle, it was your thing. You missed the whole thing. I'm done. And I'm deleting it so you can't even watch the replay. That's what you get for not being here. Okay. Oh, and Danielle, Victoria says, old computer. Guys, I already gave away the booby prize, so you're not taking it. Old computers needed to get on the iPad. Oh, okay. Yeah, that stinks. And Hector is laughing again. All right, guys. Well, Hector stole the booby prize back. Anyway. All right, guys. I'm gonna go, and you have a good day or night or whatever it is where you are. And Amy says they are replying to each other's comments. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you know what it is? You guys reply in the comments, but to me, they're in one straight line in Ecamm, so I don't see it as a reply. I just see it as its own, what do you call it? As its own comment. So if you say something that, LOL, sorry. Oh, you don't have to be sorry. I'm totally teasing you, Danielle. And Peter says, talking about emotional shift, I'm thinking of doing some American haikus. American haikus? Are they different than regular haikus? You know what? I don't think, and not a single person to my knowledge has posted a haiku in this group. So go for it. I would like to see one or read one. Yeah. And Ivan, an interesting evening. Good. I'm glad. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you very much. All right. I'm really leaving now. Okay. Stop saying things. All right. I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for your time and for hanging out with me today and for being an amazing group of people. I really appreciate it. Good night.